All right, so for these next examples, we are actually going to be looking at standard form. So remember, standard form is when your problems are in ax plus by equals c. Now, you cannot tell me the slope in standard form, okay? I cannot look at this and tell you what the slope is. It's not going to work, okay? So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to solve for y. And you need to get in the habit of doing this. You're going to be doing this in all of your math classes. So you need to solve for y. So I want to get my y value by itself, okay? So just like we did literal equations, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to move this 2x, okay? I want to move the whole thing. So I want to take 2x and I want to move it to the other side. Okay, so how do I do that? Well, to move it, I'm going to subtract by 2x because it's a positive 2x right now. I want to subtract by 2x. So I'm going to subtract by 2x. Now, that's going to cross out that piece. I'm going to bring down my negative y. Now, this is where I would make sure that I ordered this correctly. So when you put something in slope-intercept form, so y equals mx plus b, when I do that, I always have my x value first, and then I have my y-intercept. So when you write this, I would write my x value first. So I'd write negative 2x plus 3. Now, we are still trying to get y by itself, okay? So that y has a 1 in front. So when I'm looking at that 1, let me get a lighter purple that you can see a little bit better. All right, so when I put that 1 in front, that means that I'm now going to divide by negative 1. But when I divide by negative 1, I have to do it to both sides. All right, so that's going to cross out. I have y left. And at this point, we are going to simplify. You have to simplify here. I cannot stress this enough. You have to simplify. All right. So when I simplify, I'm going to make sure I divide both pieces by my negative 1. So I'm going to divide negative 2 by negative 1. And when I do that, okay, I get y equals, so negative 2 divided by negative 1 is going to be a positive 2x. Now, if you struggle with stuff like that and simplifying, then pull up Desmos, okay? At this point, I would rather you use Desmos and get it right than to question yourself. So negative 2 divided by negative 1 gives you positive 2. Okay? Now, we also have to take the 3 and divide by negative 1 because both pieces are being divided. So 3 divided by negative 1 is going to be minus 3. Now that it's in slope-intercept form, I can tell you what my slope is and what my y-intercept is. So we're going to go back. So we were looking for my slope. My slope is equal to 2. My y-intercept is my b value, and that's going to be equal to negative 3. So just by looking at this earlier, you would have gotten some of your pieces wrong if you had not solved for y. If it's in standard form, you have to solve for y. All right, let's look at the next example. All right, so I have my standard form because it's in that format, ax plus by equals c. All right, so my a is 1. So if I were to write this over top of it, it'd be 1x plus 2y equals negative 8, okay? But I want you to tell me the slope and the y-intercept. That means I'm going to have to solve for y. So I'm going to start this problem this time by subtracting x. I want to take this entire x and move it to the other side. Just like I did the same thing up here. I wanted to move the entire 2x to the other side. The same process applies. I want to move the entire x over here. So I'm going to subtract x. And that's going to leave me with 2y. Remember, we're going to put the x first. So negative x, and that's going to be minus 8. Now, we've done that. We need to divide. So I'm going to still get my I'm trying to get my y variable by itself. So I'm going to divide by 2. And I need to simplify. All right, so just like I did just a second ago, to simplify, I'm going to divide negative 1 by 2. How do I know there's a negative 1 there? Because there's always a 1, and since it's negative 1. So that's going to be negative 1/2 and put the x on the outside. How do I know? I can pull up Desmos. I can type negative 1 divided by 2. It's going to give you a fraction. Well, just hit the little fraction button that's in the blue section on the side, and it'll turn it back and forth between a fraction and a decimal. So it's negative 1/2, and I'm going to put the x on the outside. All right, I'm going to simplify again. So negative 8 divided by 2 is going to be minus 4. All right, so just like we did a second ago, now that we're in slope-intercept form, all right, so I have y equals mx plus b. So if I were to rewrite this would be y equals mx plus b. We are in slope-intercept form. So I now have my slope. My slope is negative 1/2. So m equals negative 1/2. My b is negative 4. So b equals negative 4. So when it's in slope-intercept form, you can easily tell me my slope and my y-intercept. But if it's not and it's in standard form, I got to solve. All right, so again, we're in standard form here. Okay, this is ax plus by equals c. Okay, so we're in standard form. So we're going to solve for y here. And in solving for y, we are going to start by taking this whole 4x and moving it to the other side. So we're going to take the whole 4x, move it to the other side. So we're going to do that by subtracting 4x. As a positive 4x, we're going to subtract the 4x. So you're still using some of those same properties as you're solving, just like we did with literal equations and regular equations. Do not forget this negative right here. You got to make sure you bring it down. So this is going to be negative 3y. Make sure you write your x first. So negative 4x plus 9. We brought down the negative 3y. So we brought this down. We put the negative 4x first. And we brought down the 9. All right. So we're still trying to solve for y. Get y by itself. So now we're going to divide by negative 3. And we're going to simplify. So y equals, we're going to divide negative 4 by negative 3. Okay, so negative 4 divided by negative 3 is going to be positive 4 over 3 with the x on the outside. Again, if you feel like you're going to struggle with that, type negative 4 divided by negative 3. And you get this fraction. So turn it, or this decimal, turn it back into a fraction, positive 4 over 3. All right. So we get positive 4 over 3. Now we're going to simplify again. 9 divided by negative 3 is going to give me minus 3. So my slope, now that it's in standard form, I can tell you what the slope and the y-intercept is. My slope is 4/3 or 4 over 3. My y-intercept is negative 3. So once again, if it's in standard form, you have to solve for y. All right, so I'm going to go a little bit quicker this time. Hopefully we've got it all together. So I'm going to start by solving for y here. All right, I want to take my entire 3x and move my 3x to the other side. So I'm going to subtract 3x. All right. And doing that, that's going to leave me, I'm going to bring down my 2y. So I'm going to bring down 2y equals, and I'm going to write my x first, so negative 3x plus 6. Now, why are we doing this again? Because it's in standard form. I have ax plus by equals c. In order to tell you what my slope and my y-intercept is, we need to write it in slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. Okay, we are getting it in this format. You've got to get it in y equals mx plus b. All right, so we're still going to solve for y. So we're going to divide by 2. And we're going to simplify. All right, so you're going to do negative 3 divided by 2. So negative 3 divided by 2 is negative 3 over 2x. Again, go to Desmos, divide it out. So negative 3 divided by 2 gives you a decimal. You can turn it back into a fraction, which is negative 3 over 2. And 6 divided by 2 is going to be positive 3. All right, so my slope in this problem, so m equals negative 3 over 2. My y-intercept is positive 3. How do I know? Because I'm doing y equals mx plus b. All right, last example here. So this time it looks a little bit funny. It's not in that format. I have ax, then I have a by over here, and then I have the plus c in this side. So how do I handle this? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to switch sides. I'm going to take my left side and my right side, and I'm going to flip them around. I'm not going to change anything other than making it 4y equals 3x plus 20. So I took 3x plus 20, I moved it to the right, and I took negative 4y and moved it to the left. Why did I want to do that? Well, now I can easily solve for y in this problem. How do I solve for y? Well, I'm going to divide by negative 4. I don't have to move anything else because it's all, y is already by itself except for the negative 4. So I'm going to divide by negative 4 and simplify. All right, so 3 divided by negative 4 is going to be negative 3 over 4x. And 20 divided by negative 4 is going to be minus 5. So my slope in this problem is negative 3 over 4. And my y-intercept in this problem is going to be negative 5. All right, so what do you need to remember? Remember that if it's in standard form, you have to put it in slope-intercept form. I cannot stress that enough. If it's in standard form, so standard form, you must convert to slope-intercept form. Okay, you've got to solve for y here. So solve for y.